just feels good to be driving fast again.
You ready for this?
This one is definitely a little more detailed when it comes to street racing.
The driving sequences, I think, are that much more unreal.
The cars they use are just so cool.
I'm surrounded by these drop-dead gorgeous guys.
And there's a lot of beautiful women.
Man! We had really cool stunts.
I was aware of this car culture, but nothing like this. We go live at 5.
You really get a sense of the characters.
I need you to come to Miami and drive with me.
It's bigger and better. It's some mind-blowing stuff.
What's up, Suki?
What's up, Bullet?
I was glad to come back. I think mainly just because I knew that, you know, the fans wanted to see it. Everyone's here for the right reason, and that is to make the best movie we could possibly make.
When you get the idea, have a little wicked.
Yeah, I got you.
When we started talking about who we were going to get to direct this movie, we knew it was going to be hard to actually find a director who was going to have to try and live up to the first one. But one day I said, we should go to John for this movie.
And then you pan over here. Because when I saw the first picture, my response was, you know, I'm like, damn, you know, why didn't I think of that, you know? Because growing up in South Central Los Angeles, we used to have the street races all the time.
That's in the movie! That's in the movie!
Because I knew that it would be a fun movie, just like a real cool film that I think everybody's going to be interested in seeing. This is where you arrived for the first time.
And this one is basically Brian O'Connor's getting back to his roots. His roots being his childhood with Roman Pierce, Tyrese Gibson's character.
He's got some skills. And he's crazy as hell, I'm telling you.
Tyrese, I'd seen some of his work on MTV, and I thought he had a terrific personality, huge on-screen presence.
It's always refreshing to wake up and you can read what you're about to do on the paper prior to getting here, but when you're actually all seeing it laying out and you see how many people is required to get something done, I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I saw you in Baby Boy. Yeah. Rated R movie.
And you snuck in, didn't you?
God bless y'all. You can never get tired of that type of love because it doesn't have to be there. And I think even if you find a bone in your body that start getting irritated with it, as soon as it ends, it'll shut you right up.
This film is great for me because, you know, I was able to work with people that I hadn't worked with. It's great to really work with actors who just want to you know, make a cool film.
First team down and back twice wins the race. The losers will hand over them keys.
I made kind of a career of working with hip-hop artists, starting with Ice Cube with Boys in the Hood, and Chris to come along and never have acted before and to do such a phenomenal job as he does in this picture. It's great.
I gotta give all props due to my man John Singleton. You see him in my videos, he thought I was real creative, he thought I was real energetic, which I am, damn it.
The cool thing about this picture is that I think over 80% of the cast are all newcomers. And it's phenomenal to see all these young people on the screen and just do it, man, and make it happen.
Let's do this.
The difference between driving in this one as opposed to the last one is that I'm going to be doing a lot more driving.
Out here at driver school right now, and we're doing it big.
What I wanted to do was maneuver the camera around the car actually moving and see the characters doing the action.
About give it 2 or 3 beats that we see that it's you, you look over the camera, and then just accelerate.
No problem. The whole race car driving school was really a bonding experience.
Go, buddy! Yeah!
Miami is great. Filming this film out here and all of these women out here, it's just vainglorious.
Girl, where you going? Miami, Miami. Miami, and I think it just brings, you know, sexiness, man. There's a lot of sexy people down here, believe it.
It's a oasis in here, bro.
Yeah.
lots of potential.
To bring the whole Miami look to Monica, my character, I went out to a lot of clubs. Had a lot of fun. I actually went out to see what these girls were wearing, how they were acting, because it's very specific. This whole Miami attitude is very specific, and I actually really like it. There's a freeness in these girls' sexuality and in their attitude. They're very much aware of that sexuality and kind of push it. Tops get shorter and the skirts get shorter, but hey, it works for them.
You know, this movie is a car movie. The cars are the stars. So, you know, we pay close attention to what we want to put on the cars. We want to have the hottest cars.
When John Singleton came on as the director, we wanted to give him a little taste of what this world was, and we called up our transportation guys and we said, you know, can you get us 100 cars down to the Santa Monica Civic tomorrow at 12 o'clock? And we get down there and there are cars and people everywhere.
Everything's all custom. Everything's all custom. You never see a Celica just like this, one of a kind.
To people that are really into this, their cars are their babies. I mean, you know, they're really into making these cars look good, and you know, that's what we keyed into.
Woo! This can get addicting.
It's a whole big scene, you know what I mean, all around. And this car culture is like, it crosses all kinds of boundaries. There's different ethnic groups. Everybody's into this.
Everyone is going to go to the theater and see an image of yourself. You got everything. You got Puerto Rican, Cuban, every nationality is in this film.
It's a world where everybody is either into racing cars, into fixing cars, into being around cars. And that's what makes Fast and Furious so cool. Mitsubishi Evo 7, 280 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. It's the car that Paul Walker drives throughout most of the movie.
I love my car from head to toe.
This is the Mitsubishi Spider. This is a car that Tyrese, who plays Roman Pierce, drives in the picture. Me and Tyrese argued about this car through pre-production because he wanted to make sure that the car looked good. He was afraid people would think that if he didn't drive a cool car, he wouldn't be cool.
We supposed to be fighting crime in this?
But this is convertible, which is pretty sweet to have in Miami, but my car is much faster.
For John, this is not a job, it was a passion.
Go to stand up, guys. I feel great that I've been able to have a career where people want, you know, to work with me. I love to see people go through their paces, and you know, I'm like a football or basketball coach. Look at Paul. You see something going on, like you look at him, and then look down.
We're having a blast together. His whole thing is he just wants everything to be real. He wants it to be organic. So nothing's fixed. If it's not working, then turn it inside out and go another direction with it.
Yeah. When you walk to the car, you're looking over at him.
There's always a great appreciation for John and the way he directs you and how nurturing and understanding and how he's willing to listen to you.
I like to push people to their limits of what they can do on a film.
And action.
He's not intimidating. He just knows what he wants, and you better give it to him.
Make it real. Ready? And action. Go. Quick.
No, don't throw your hands up. Just back up like this.
This being my first real movie that I've ever done, I've learned so much from him. As far as how we are in front of the camera, behind the scenes, how to set up certain things, how to be prepared. I mean, I've definitely learned a lot because this man he motivates me to work even harder. He comes from a line of just great movies, and I mean, I'm glad to be a part of this one.
I feel that whatever organic energy you have behind the scene translates to the movie, you know, and we really had a good time working on this picture.
That's great. Cut.
This leg right here is cheating.
Whoa.
Hey, that is a blooper right there. That is for you, people.
They called John and asked him what did he think about working with me, and he said, I love working with him. So they put me in the film, and then 3 months later, they put John in the film.
The great thing about Paul and Tyrese in this picture is that they really vibe together as just buddies.
Oh, what are you doing? You're not gonna say anything, you bastard?
And it really translates what's on film.
Point attention in the scene. My shirt is blowing. Around after you give me a good take, guys. Come on.
I truly believe what you create organically behind the scenes translates to the life that you're trying to depict on film.
He's just real natural. His whole thing is, his MO is he wants to bring a certain street credibility to it, because he's the real deal.
I'm from the streets. I'm word of mouth will get me anything.
He feels like it's his duty, more or less, to bring that credibility into the movie.
I got so much hood credibility. I just walk up, they just start snitching on cats.
I've actually pulled a lot from him, seeing that we're supposed to have grown up together. I'm trying to incorporate some of that into Brian.
Tyrese's character and my character have a very similar, like, on-camera relationship as we do off-camera. We have this whole love-hate thing going on.
She made me so wet.
And just look over there. Oh, God. Come on, now. Come on. Hey, come on.
I get kind of weird when we all do a scene together because I got to be around Paul doing all the things that I want to do.
He's definitely the one that just like gets in there and has that energy, you know, and then we're like, all right, you know, he kind of gets everybody going.
Why are you filming us, man?
Every day is an adventure, you know what I mean? No 2 day on the set is the same. You're having fun, you're making history, so you have to appreciate each frame after John Holler action. And that's what I do.
I ain't done that since driving school. I'm supposed to be driving in the damn movie. You motherfuckers.
The Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider is another good example of a car that's really done well in the U.S. in popularity. You see a ton of them driving around. They're very popular with hobbyists and enthusiasts. There's a plethora of aftermarket performance parts and styling parts for the car. So it's really easy to take one and go through a catalog and find mountains and mountains of really cool parts to stylize the car and make it very unique. This car is more about style than it is about speed, and that's pretty much reflective of how it is on the street. It's a quick car in its own right, but people really buy these cars because of their body styling. So Tyrese Gibson is a very stylistic character on screen, and I think that really, this car certainly will fit his particular character.
Don't even think about taking a convertible. I love my car from head to toe. I think whatever reaction my car in particular get, it'll be a great appreciation for it because I designed it from scratch along with this guy named Keith. The car was purple and it had black webs on the side of it, like spider webs. It was terrible. It had stainless steel 17-inch rims on it. Terrible. And the whole interior was all suede, but it was yellow, bright yellow. Terrible. So I freaked out and told them if I'm gonna make a debut in a film like this, and I don't get too aggressive about a lot of things, you know what I mean? Because I'm grateful and I don't want to really be a spaz. But on this car, I wasn't having it.
The Spider's a really cool car to play with because they make so many things for the car. So you can pretty much pick up a catalog, and as long as you got room on your credit card, you can keep going. Every single body component can be changed. So we added things like the over-fender flare kit from a company called Shine Street. They specialize in the hard-to-find stuff. We got the interior torn out of this car. It's all being down fabricated at a company called Stitchcraft, which did a lot of stuff for Part 1. So we use elements from Sparco, the seat company. They're a company based in Italy, and Stitchcraft, and they'll go through and change the color of the interior of the car. The entire interior will be completely done with a top-down and 5 TV screens in this thing, big chrome wheels, airbag suspension, racing seats and harnesses.
I changed my whole car around. It's suede, gray interior now. The rims are 20s and they're chrome Laurenhart BR5s. The whole car got painted over. It got nice little crystals and sparkles in it. The paint job is nice and swirly going around. It's ridiculous. Well, I love my car.
Tyrese was a trip.
Yeah, baby, it's Halloween. I might as well break y'all in first. If they just let me go out there and have a ball, I'll probably go through 4 engines.
He's having fun. He a lot of energy, very willing to do and things going on. You had to calm him down a little bit. Why don't you take it right to the mechanic?
They ain't ready.
Yeah, we busting engines, baby. My middle name is Damage.
They're teaching us all of the things we need to do to be able to run away from the police. And and run away from my enemies in the streets.
He went through so many sets of tires.
We're gonna bust it, break it down some way, somehow.
I hate to drive with him just on a personal level, just driving because he goes down the 405 freeway, like, you know, at like, you know, 95 miles an hour, just whipping through cars. So
it's a rush for me because I own all fast cars, but I'm not able to do what I can do here in the streets because I get probably $500,000 worth of tickets doing donuts on the freeway. It's fun to be able to just do anything you can think of out here. And all you'll probably hear is that you ran over a cone.
I got it, baby! He's ran over! How about that, officer? Your car is driving, running over the cones, man. You don't know how to drive. Hold on, man. I know all about this. 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 Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm here to show the driver teachers how to drive. And if you put two and two together, you see just why. I hit every cone out there.
He's enjoying it, but he also understands the importance of the safety factors, so it's fun to work with.
Focus, baby!
I was glad to come back. I think mainly just because I knew that, you know, the fans wanted to see it. I didn't really have a choice in the matter because they had an option on me from the first one, but the first one did real well, did phenomenally well. It was a sleeper hit.
We did Skulls together, we did Fast and Furious together, and we did Fast and Furious 2 together. Paul is one of the hardest working guys I know.
My man, Paul Walker, that's a crazy guy right there. He likes having fun.
If you tell him to run up the hill, it's how many times. He's always there for you.
Paul Walker's really difficult. He's a pain in the ass, and he's not cute. He kind of messes me up on close-ups. He makes me laugh a lot. And then John Singleton's in the middle, yelling from the monitor, "Stop laughing! You ruined it! You ruined it!" But we're having fun.
I've been known to get into trouble from time to time, but I've mellowed out quite a bit.
Paul is what you consider the epitome of a white boy, and I'm all-American Negro. And I'm from the hood. And Paul is from Huntington Beach, out there where they surf at and do all of the crazy white boy things. I mean, Paul is crazy, man. We be fighting and wrestling and all kind of slapping each other on the neck, man, forehead, just crazy.
They're two of the silliest knuckleheads I've ever met in my life. You know, sometimes I would have to wrangle the two of them to get them to concentrate on the movie itself because they were just off, you know, either driving the cars or playing around and everything.
When you're talking about two characters that are supposed to have chemistry on screen, if you don't have it in real life, it's next to impossible. And Tyrese and I think John just knew that we'd hit it off and we'd get along really well. That's my boy right here.
That's my dad. You know, it's like, you know, okay, put some of this fun on the screen.
It's not about the fame or the fortune. He loves doing what he does. He's a real guy's guy. Guys can relate to him. Girls want him. He's just a terrific guy to be around, and he's actually a very good friend. I adore him, and I'd love to make 10 more movies with him.
Everyone just kind of really clicked, and everyone really got the idea that, hey, you know what, this is going to be the ideal situation, being that, you know, there aren't any egos, and everyone's going to be easy to get along with, and everyone's here for the right reason, and that is to make the best movie we could possibly make. We have an Evolution 7 that we're using, which is made by Mitsubishi, and that's not going to even be available in North America until February, so we got one some while early, which is cool.
When I was first contracted to provide consultation services, I was asked to provide a wish list of the coolest cars anywhere on the planet, and I was told that pretty much price was no object. So if we could get them, what cars would we get? And of course, some of the top cars on the list were the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 7, the new Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider, and the Mitsubishi Lancer OZ Rally Edition. It was kind of a dream list. I didn't expect to actually get what we asked for, but getting the Lancer Evo 7s was, I think, one of the turning points in the preparation of the movie. Now, Japanese manufacturers for a long time have been accused of watering down their offerings for the American marketplace. Well, Subaru came in with the WRX, had some success. Mitsubishi, I think, was very savvy in saying, hey, let's bring a car even better than that to the U.S., and that's the Evo 7. You get in that car, and it's a supercar with 4 doors. It's single turbo, 280 horsepower, all-wheel drive, Brembo brakes, big wheels from the manufacturer, sticky tires, Recaro race interior. You get in that car, and it's awe-inspiring, to say the least. You take a look at Paul Walker, who plays Brian in the film, and Brian's more about speed and horsepower and functionality. So his car, the Mitsubishi Evo 7, was deemed to be very appropriate for his character. It's high horsepower, it's fast, it's not going to be adorned with a lot of aftermarket accessories because it really comes from the factory exactly the way you'd want it. For the film, we've decided to really hop up the cars, and we're adding pretty much everything you can add to a car, just like you'd see on the street. We start off with body kits, and we find the world's greatest body kit manufacturers. We move on into tires and wheels. Of course, everybody changes tires and wheels. It's one of the first things they do. We move on to the interior of the car. We do everything from seats and racing seat belts to gauge packages to steering wheels, and then we get into audio video. Again, a big part of the Fast and Furious culture was the stylized accessories. Having one hero car, you create one hero car, you need to have a total of 4 cars. One is called a buck car, which is a car that's cosmetically identical to the hero car, but will be used on a gimbal or on a sound stage in front of a green screen or a blue screen. So cosmetically, much of the car needs to be identical to the hero car. Then you have 2 other backup vehicles. They're usually stunt vehicles. And the stunt vehicle needs to be used on first unit, which is where the actors work, or on second unit, where the stunt sequences take place. So those cars will get banged up during a day scene or a night scene and have to be fixed and made ready for the next day. And that's a challenge because, again, the body kits on these cars are very elaborate, and a lot of surgery was involved to put them on. The tires and wheels aren't off-the-shelf items. They were specially built for these vehicles. The gauges on these cars are not something you just go down to Pep Boys and pick up. You know, they're pretty specialty items, so you've got to order them from Japan. Having 4 copies of every single thing that you need and having these cars ready 24/7 is going to be a challenge. That's kind of the sad part of my job, is watching what happens to these cars after filming begins. You've got the one hero car, which everybody tries to baby and tries to take real good care of because the hardware on it's more elaborate. Everything works on the car. So you're trying to take real good care of those cars. But the 3 replica cars, those things are trash. They might as well be rental cars in Bucks, North Tennessee, because they are tore up. They are jumped, they're skidded, they're flipped, they're banged into curbs. Body kits are ripped off 4, 5, 6 times. Hoods fly up, tires are burnt off. Special effects things are hooked up to the car. Camera rigs are hooked up to the car.
I mean, I love cars. I love driving fast. I mean, if I'm not surfing, I'm usually racing around. So this job, it's really, I mean, not to sound so cheesy, but it really is a dream come true. The difference between driving in this one as opposed to the last one is that I'm going to be doing a lot more driving. I did quite a bit in the first one, but John's like, you know what, no ifs, ands, or buts. The bottom line is to get the coolest shots, you got to be behind the wheel.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that in these driving shots that I could maneuver the camera around the car actually moving, see the characters doing the action.
I want a faster one then.
Paul's pretty much a professional driver.
Go!
He's always been a hot rod kind of guy.
3 weeks before we kicked off with principal photography, and the whole race car driving school is called a bonding experience, which just kind of put everyone at ease. You know, that's why he's got us out here doing this. He wants to make sure, you know, that we could stick our marks and doing that sort of thing.
In that corner over there at the end, you're too close to the right-hand side. Come all the way to the left.
Break a little later too, probably then.
Good run. Great job.
Some faster now.
This car has so much power, you gotta wait a long time before you can get in it hard. But you'll see. And this is a 4-wheel drive. It might tend to slide in the back a little bit, kind of like we did in the Mustang.
That's how we do it in Sunland, Tujunga, California, right there.
What's difficult about this car is it's right-hand drive. So it's a whole little coordination thing going on with shifting gears.
It's really learning how to control the slide. There's a fine line between being out of control and being in control of the car. Just because, you know, the car is sliding out on you doesn't mean that you are necessarily out of control.
Go!
Now
wanted to race. I mean, you know, Paul, we had to do everything we could to keep him out of the driver's seat. And a lot of times when normally with stuntmen would do things, but there's a particular shot in the movie after he wins the big first race where he actually power slides right towards camera. And there was a lot of discussions on the set whether it was going to be safe for him to do it with all of us there. And he assured me that he could do it.
You got the control, so just now see if you can
bring it in a little deeper into the box.
We let him do it. It's one of the best shots in the movie.
On days like this is when you really check yourself and you go, am I really getting paid to do this? It just doesn't seem fair, you know?
And go! I was in California. I have an acting agent out there, and they told me that Fast and the Furious was casting the role of Suki. I was, of course, very interested in trying out for it. I went and I met with John, and then there I am.
And the cool thing about Devin, you know, being like 20 years old, you know, you look at her in the film, and you believe like she was a street racer. You know, I was really like hard on her in terms of like, you know, hey, you know, you're the only chick that's gonna be racing, so you know, you really got to hold it down.
It was so much fun, though. It was almost like being in an arcade and being able to sort of do anything you wanted to do with a car. I guess I really learned about the car culture through the first Fast and the Furious. I love John. He is so giving to his actors, and he's a great teacher. I can't imagine what it's going to be like if I ever have to do anything without him. I wouldn't ever want to. We rehearsed a couple days before. We had Paul and Tyrese talking to each other about their past and what happened, what brought them to the place that they are now in their relationship. And he did all this background stuff. With me, he did something where in my first scene, I have a little bit of not a problem with OJ, but I definitely have a bone to pick with him because he says something to me that I don't like.
So we don't have to roll with skirt here.
Idiota. And in the rehearsal, he had us do a skit where he comes up to me and he tries to pick me up, and I'm not interested in getting picked up, and I really don't want anything to do with him unless it has something to do with me helping him with his car. I was like, oh, these guys, they're movie stars, they're probably gonna have an attitude, I'm really not gonna even, you know, want to have anything to do with them on any level. It was the opposite of that. And they're all so unique, and they're so sort of like effervescent and full of energy and full of life. They're like young boys discovering life, and they're excited about everything, and everything to them is new and different, and it's great, and it's so good to be around that energy. It's incredible, and being by the beach and being near water and around boats and jet skis and all this cool stuff, it's like so exciting. It is a pink Barbie car, but don't let the paint job fool you because it's a very powerful car.
This is a Honda S2000. They're about $35,000 off the showroom floor, maybe a tad more. 240 horsepower, supercharged. This particular car is the hero car, so it's supercharged, and we actually bought it from a private owner. We're going through it, modifying it for the movie. So we got a Veilside body kit we put on it. Roja wheels from American Racing. We got some Apex gauges. We did a Rockford Fosgate sound system, so everything will work in this particular car. A Reactive exhaust, but it came with a Paxton Novi supercharger on the car. And again, all the Veilside componentry we put on the car. And then after that, it's turned over to the art department. They do the graphics on the car. And then pick the paint colors. It's all up to the art department after that.
They told me it's supposed to be me on the side of the door, and it's sort of like a Japanese animation character.
There's a whole artistic process that goes into the graphic selection of the vehicles. Each one of the vehicles, of course, is assigned to a particular character. So the art department, the script people, and the production team come together and they decide what really suits that character. This particular car, for example, is going to belong to a female in the movie. So some of the styling influences like Japanese anime characters were carried over into the car. And the color selection and the graphic selection, and right down to the accessories we'll select for the movie.
The interior is pink. It's a very unique car, and it suits Suki's character to the T. People always look at the color pink as being sort of like a, you know, it's like a sissy color, it's very girly. But in this case, it's really the opposite of that because she can really drive. So This is sort of like a statement. It's sort of like an in-your-face, yeah, I drive a pink car, but I can definitely beat your ass if it comes to driving.
The differences between these cars and the cars you're seeing on the street is there's a great deal of deference to the artistic flair of the art department, what the director envisions. You've got to make the cars very flashy so that even the average enthusiast or the average audience member can really grasp what they're seeing on the film, that these cars are not your average street cars.
These turns are tight and they're kind of long. You're going to find that in the middle, you're going to have to wait a while, and you'll be looking, and you wait, and then when you start to see it straightening out, start adding gas, start straightening the wheel, and that all happens real smoothly. Real smoothly. The smoother you are, the better you are. Devin, you think you're ready for that?
Do I want to change gears going around the corner?
No.
She never drove anything in her whole life, zero. And so she had to start from scratch and learn to drive a stick shift and actually take it around the corners pretty fast.
When I got here, I didn't have a license. I'd never actually driven before. I had driven a golf cart around, of course, but that was the extent of my driving experience. So
She had to learn how to drive, period, and then she had to learn how to drive stunt to make it seem as though she's a professional driver in the picture.
it was crazy because when I got here, they're like, so you know how to drive, this will be easy, and I was like, well, not really.
You can change gears in the corner if you're street driving, but if you were doing some high-speed driving, you never want to do that. You always want to have your gear change done prior to the corner.
2 days ago, Suki never drove a car in her life. We now have her driving and shifting gears in a supercharged Mustang Celine. It's quite an accomplishment.
Did I ever get a little busy? Just a little. That was great, though.
You know, you look at her in the film, like, you believe like she's a street racer. You know, as pretty and cute as she is, it's phenomenal to see her face. You know, she's just like, you know, she's going for hers. You know, she's hanging with the dudes.
Yes!
Pocket buses.